be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Thursday, April 21st, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. How about a little bit of Tuesday morning motivation to get you fired up? If you've been watching the show at all over the last few months, at some point you've probably seen us feature some of the ridiculous deadlift numbers that Joe Mackey's team has been putting up. A few days ago, he really topped himself when he ventured into uncharted waters by ripping off a 900-pound deadlift, which puts him in rarefied air because there are only a handful of people ever to walk the planet who've managed to touch a number like that. To be completely honest, I don't know what Joe's squat and bench numbers look like, but that deadlift number alone probably puts him at the top of the list as far as strongest bodybuilders in the world are concerned. And if he can come anywhere close to being as successful on the stage this year as he's been in the gym, watch out, because he's about to give a lot of people nightmares. Have you ever heard someone talk about beginning with the end in mind? You probably should have, but it's a quote that's been around forever that a lot of coaches use as a tool for getting their people to develop a crystal clear vision of what it is that they actually want to do before they start taking steps towards building their vision. And the whole reason I'm even bringing this up is because Hunter Labrada seems to be taking this approach with his bodybuilding career based on what we've seen in some of his social media posts lately. Shortly after the death of Cedric McMillan, Hunter came out and made a post about the vision he had for his career, which included winning an Olympia title and then riding off into the sunset somewhere around the age of 35. Now, if you don't know, I believe Hunter is 29 right now and turning 30 at some point later this year, which means that he would still have another 5 or 6 years competing at a high level before he calls it quits. But even still, to retire at that age is relatively young for bodybuilding, because we've seen a lot of athletes have their best years in their 40s. But if that really is his plan, and he is planning to exit stage left a whole lot sooner than later, people better enjoy this ride while it lasts, because it doesn't look like it's going to be around forever. Listen, it's way too early to start making bold predictions about who might do what at the Olympia, but it's not too early to say this. Keon Pearson is going to be a major problem in any division this year. The video you're seeing on the screen now is footage of Keon guest posing out in Sweden last weekend. And one of the things that blows your mind when you see this is the level of size and conditioning that he's carrying around now. During his first stint in the 212 division, Keon was good. In fact, he was so good that he managed to place in the top 5 at the Olympia. But this version of Keon feels like it's on another level. Now, whether or not that's good enough to be a legitimate title threat this year is entirely a different conversation. But if what we're seeing right now in mid-April is a real indicator of what might be coming down the road, then I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that someone from last year's top 5 is going to be losing their seat at the table this year, because Keon is coming in hungry. Now, with all due respect to Keon and all his greatness, we know that the road to 212 glory runs through Derek Lunsford. And depending on who you ask, the road to the open title might actually run through Derek too. In case you missed it last week, on Fouad Abiad's podcast, there were a handful of high-level athletes who said that they thought that Derek was good enough to place in the top 6 at the Olympia this year without having to do anything crazy in terms of adding size to move up into the division. And to top that off, in a recent post on his social media, Ben Pakulski went on the record to say that he thought Derek was the best bodybuilder in the world right now, regardless of division, and that he believed Derek would win multiple titles in open bodybuilding before the end of his career. So then, I want to close out the show today by leaving you guys with these 2 questions. Is Derek Lunsford the best bodybuilder in the world regardless of the division? And do you agree with Ben? Do you see Derek as someone who will win multiple open titles at some point in his career? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.